I actually have an inspiration to make the arrangement on my previous track that I did previously on my vlog.
Just vibes.
But now I think first things first, I will need to clean up my room. Shit.
I think as a creative, a space is very important for me, especially for it to be inspiring. Cleaning it up and having accountability on it is just as important.
Recently my kit lens for my Sony ZV-10 is not working, so recently I also went to the Sony store and they told me that I had to wait for like a week or two just to get it repaired. But I said, hold up, because I need to plan my YouTube and I'm doing this for you guys. I'm using another lens. It is I think it's more like a prime lens. The zoom is not that great, but I probably want to invest into a wide angle lens, a new one, maybe like a Sigma or a new Sony. I'm gonna continue shooting YouTube videos, so don't worry.
Then again, once in a while, it's okay to be messy as a creative because I feel like the best work coming from a creative comes from non-conformity and chaos.
I guess today's vlog has a mission to clean up the track and also finish up some of the arrangement in the track. It won't be a full arrangement kind of thing, but I will try my best to create something special for this track. I'll be doing a lot of like sequencing, arranging, and even sound design. Let's see where this production session goes, but I'm very excited. Let's hit the studio.
At the start of the arrangement session, usually I just duplicate a few bars within the arrangement so that I have more room to play with in terms of changing things up. And the next thing I wanted to find was a sound that can sweep up, more like a transition kind of sound before it enters to the main riff. Finally got the sound that I want, added a bit of gating effect, and trying to put it into the arrangement here. Next thing is all about fine-tuning the MIDI of this sweep, adding a little bit of reverb. Next thing, I feel like I need to find some crash just to give a bit of epicness in the sound. Usually I like to put the crash at the first and the fourth bar of the pattern. And I feel like having a gap before the bar comes in, so I shifted the whole thing outwards by 2 bars, trying to copy one of the leads in there before the drum comes in. And then I feel like the bass needs more bounce, so I edited the MIDI pattern. Trying to cut short on the end notes. Add a little bit of glide and slide on the bass. Then I went ahead to open up Vital so that I can edit the bass. Just trying to find a few parameters here that I can adjust. Kind of like the filters. This makes like the bass evolve throughout the arrangement. Then I went ahead to draw the automation graph so that I know when the bass comes in to evolve, probably at the last 4 bars. This will create some kind of tension. Lastly, I just duplicated the sweep over where the bass evolves. I think this gives extra tension and suspense. I think there's a couple more things that I want to do, like to add a bit of slots in between the drum patterns so that it creates a bit more movement, a bit more suspense. Let's see what we can do next. Maybe let's find a drum fill in the next one. I'm really feeling this track. It's always good to look at the whole arrangement in terms of like what you can modify. What I did earlier on was a macro kind of control just to filter out the bass. Yeah, let's find a drum fill and see what we can sample from there. Let's go! I'm not gonna lie, like Splice is still my best friend, just to get a bass. So here I am finding drum fills. Found one and decided to trim it and truncate it. It's kinda hard for me to find a tempo in Machine and properly sample it. So I open Flex Time in Logic Pro where I move the transients to where the grids are so that the drums are more tight in this case. Nice, sounding accurate. The next thing I wanted to do was to find a synth to sort of like evolve throughout the next part of the arrangement. Kind of like the comb filter effect, a little bit of phaser here and there. It really opens up the sound. So I decided to draw the automation curve and put where I want it. A bit more depth, I sort of like added the drum fill also at that part, kind of solo it out together with the slim out kind of synth. Then I decided to sound design another synth based off my presets so that I can make a lead kind of sound. Just trying to find the right tone over here. This is the fun part where I kind of experiment with melodies. I really enjoyed this process throughout this whole arrangement session as well. And then it's time to record. As mentioned in my previous video, it's all about legato and staccato notes, balancing them out in the whole arrangement. Just cleaning up a little bit of the MIDI here and then added a reverb. All I gotta do is just play with the levels after this. I spice it up a little bit more just to add a little bit of gating here. Playing a lot with the filters and the levels of each oscillator in Vital. Shortening the notes just to make it a little bit more tighter. So I feel like adding a sidechain to all my instruments with the drums, and then I also want to add a little bit of like drum loop just to give a bit more bounce and a bit more variation to this. So let's get on with this arrangement, man. I'm loving it so far. So yeah. Firstly, I group all the instruments together to one bus. This is so that I can add the Kickstart plugin as a sidechain for the drums. This makes the track more bouncier. one trick that I like to do. I like to layer some drums. So I'm finding some drums over at Splice again. Finally found the one that I like. Resample it in Machine, truncate and slice. And I bring it over as a waveform in Logic Pro. Add it just below the main drums, more like an ambient drum. Definitely will give more bounce. I added a bit of EQ and widening for processing, just for it to be a bit more distinct. And then I felt like I need to take out some of the third beat kind of drums within this whole loop. This will emphasize more on the bounce as well, and it doesn't sound as a full sample. And after 2 hours, the whole arrangement sounds like this. That's all I have for you guys today. I hope you guys enjoy this arrangement session. There'll be more to finish this track, but I think this gives a good idea of how the track is going to be. Remember to like and subscribe. My name is VibeSynthetic. Catch you guys on the next video. Peace.